Welcome to the Ashes to Rubies live stream.
Good morning.
Good morning.
But you were looking at the wrong camera.
Hi, camera. We are in, it says there is a cold weather warning. It's freezing outside.
Freezing.
I'm going to look at some stuff today for the new kitchen at the Carlington Booch. And the guy says dress warm. And I just
cold
said,
in his warehouse?
okay. And then I'm like, man,
his warehouse must not be heated.
Where are we going to look?
Is it the used guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Some stainless steel stuff, sinks, sprayers, all that fun stuff.
Fun.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of going away. Like, not that we are going away, but I'm thinking like when we go away, what is one luxury that you like to bring? Like, what is a thing that you like? I know mine's easy, but what's yours? Like, what's that one thing that you would rather have than not have?
Books.
Really? That's a horrible thing to bring because books are heavy. So you can't pack like 5 books.
I don't.
You don't bring books, but you wish you would have a book.
Yeah.
Mine's kombucha.
I know.
I have gone to lengths to bring kombucha with us, and it hasn't been convenient at very many levels. So
I know.
All right. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
What would you bring?
What would you
You're
bring
going on a trip?
Like a luxury item. Like the thing that...
Like maybe you can't bring it, but what would you bring?
Your dog.
Yeah.
If you had a pug, you'd be like, that's an easy one.
Our pug.
I was, I had a
pug.
I had a little interview yesterday, and before we started, the girl said, if you hear any rattling, that's because I have a dog at the bottom of my feet. It's a pug. And I'm like, oh my goodness, let me see your pug. Let me see your pug. So every pug owner, obviously they want to show. Mm-hmm. Here we go into our reading. This is a contemplative meditation where we take an idea of recovery and just talk about it.
And then reflect on it throughout the day.
Yeah.
If someone dislikes me or resents something I have done, I ought first to consider whether it was I who generated the dislike or resentment. Was it something... was it something I did? Is it something I should make amends for? If so, am I inclined to justify what I did when it really wasn't right? If someone dislikes me or resents something I have done, I ought first to consider whether it was I who generated the dislike or resentment. Was it something I did? Is it something I should make amends for? If so, am I inclined to justify what I did when it really wasn't right? Answering these questions will give me good practice in being honest with myself. If I was hurtful, and I make excuses for myself for what I did, I am building a second wall between me and the person I injured. Let me tear the first wall down by being honest and honestly acknowledging my fault. Today's reminder: what a relief it is to acknowledge that I am only human and that I do make mistakes and that I am willing to correct them. I can't help liking myself better after the air has been cleared. In solidifying a friendship, I become a better friend to myself. God, help me to avoid the temptation to deceive myself by justifying my actions when they were wrong. Make me strong enough to do what I should to keep me serene.
Wow, that's really good.
Make me strong enough to do what I should to keep me serene.
That's a great one because it's like when we're watching for things to crop up in the recovered life on a daily basis and turning to God. I think one of the keys is dishonesty, but it's so hard to see because I'm not necessarily a liar like I used to be, but the only person I really lie to is myself.
Right.
And there's a concept in recovery that we can't see the truth from the false. And it's not about right and wrong or good and bad because we see that. We see the good and the bad. And so that's what we're reacting to. But do I actually see the truth from the false? And that's where I think the honesty comes in. And I think that there's no better quality, especially in a wife, but even in the world around, when we're humble and we say, oh, I'm sorry, that came out really rude. I'm sorry, I cut you off in traffic. Or just being able to not provoke a situation. And when you were reading, I was reminded of me driving to work. This is way back, and no one would let me in to get into the line of traffic on the highway. And finally, I just said, I have a bigger car than that guy, so I'm going in here. And I tried to insert myself, and that guy was pretty insistent that I wasn't getting in. And so I had rolled my window, and I was so close that I could hit his. And I was like, I'm an idiot. Reality is, because I wanted something over here and not getting the lineup, everybody was reacting to me. So do I have that kind of honesty of like, I'm actually provoking the people around me, trying to get ahead of them? But then do I do that in our relationship? Do I do that in other relationships where why are people like, can we ask ourselves,
You're like
why
an
are
animal, and you're like, why is everyone reacting
I'm
to
a
me?
feral animal, like urinating in the corner and scratching you.
And I remember that back in the day of like just that feeling of like, you might be sober, but I can't handle being around you. And so taking away alcohol isn't necessarily the solution to all our problems. We think that it is because it has been such a big problem in our lives. But, as the wife of an alcoholic, it's easy for me to think like, well, if he would just stop drinking, then everything would be fine. But that's not necessarily true at all at any level. And, the same thing for the alcoholic. Remove alcohol, well, all the reasons that you drank are still there,
yeah.
and you're still an animal.
So then how do I come up from a place of really owning my faults? And
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean it's such a relief that we don't have to be perfect and that we're going to have interactions that aren't healthy necessarily, or they're fueled by insecurity or self-pity. But how can I come from a place of honesty and really understanding the truth from the false?
And I think that's really about the LifeLab community that we've tried to build, that, we go through this process of like, okay, we're going to unpack, this and see truth about ourselves and let God sort through what's truth and what's the good, what's the bad. Like, I don't get to decide my defects of character. I don't get to decide what's my best qualities, but God, you can sort through all of that. And then here I have these other people around me that it's okay if I'm not perfect. It's okay if I'm sorting this out. We have people that come back after relapsing, and I feel really sad that if people aren't doing well, they feel like they have to go hide. I'm like, man, just like stick it out here with us. Like, you think I'm not perfect. Can we just all figure this out together?
Yeah, really good. So as we go today, good morning. We have a new person. I can't pronounce her name.
Welcome.
Saskia. I can't.
Saskia.
Saskia.
Hello.
Oh, it's so easy when somebody else says it. Hello, welcome.
I'm a very good reader, though.
You're a great reader.
I'm a really good reader.
Yeah, that's your that's your luxury. So as we go today, would we remind ourselves about being honest and inviting God to reflect the true and the false, and so that I can admit my faults eagerly around the people that I love most.
Our prayer, like the little quote at the end of our reading was, I'm going to read the last line. God, make me strong enough to do what I should to keep me serene.
Very good.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every weekday.
We will see
9
you
a.m.
on the weekend, maybe.
And we have a podcast, Ashes to Rubies, if you want to listen to old stuff.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Have a great weekend.
Keep the peace. Be of good behavior and wash your hands.